and only Sean Connery.
Welcome to Japan, Mr. Bond.
He's bigger than life, facing 1,000 deaths. And you only live twice, and twice is the only way to live.
We're too late.
Well, at least he died on the job.
Bond is dead.
Bond is alive. Kill Bond! Now!
No matter what the odds, they don't stand a chance against James Bond, Sean Connery, 007. Bond, the world's greatest gentleman agent with a license to kill. And he never misses a chance.
What's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?
Bond is back, grabbing love where he finds it.
Like a lamb to the slaughter.
Everywhere. Bond rises in the east. The odds, 1,000 to 1, but they don't stand a chance.
Get down!
All this is just a drop in the ocean. The best yet from the film creators of 007.
Tiger said, from now on, you must do everything in Japanese style.
Everything?
You Only Live Twice is a James Bond 007 movie that was released on July 13th, 1967. I am back again reviewing another early James Bond flick. Let's just see if this one is good. This time, James Bond goes to investigate the disappearance of a spacecraft with the help of the Japanese Secret Service. And they both find a much more sinister plot than just swallowing up spacecrafts, devised by Blofeld. I don't really want to get too much into the details of the story because honestly, I consider the story to be unimpressive. And no, it's not because it has James Bond disguise himself as a Japanese man. I don't give a fuck about that at all. Although, if you know me, that should come as no surprise. The 007 series is not a politically correct series, which is something that the fucking people working on it nowadays really need to understand. But I have problems with it that are different from that. I will try my damnedest to explain. I think one of the problems with the movie comes down to the person who wrote the screenplay of the movie. The screenplay was written by Roald Dahl, and it honestly really shows. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he is necessarily a bad screenwriter. I just think here it feels like he was just in a bad state and just not even trying when writing this. Mainly because it seems like he tries to incorporate many of the elements of his novels into a 007 movie, and it just doesn't work. The quirky, macabre humor I can see working in a 007 movie, but the on-the-nose social commentary is a little bit harder to defend. This movie seems to go out of its way to make television seem like it's the root of all fucking evil. It really shows that it was written in a different generation, because the effects of TV that are shown in the movie have been exaggerated. When showing them. If you look at TV right now. I think that people like him didn't seem to realize that their preferred method of medium was becoming obsolete. That people were starting to see how books are not actually easy mediums to digest. I don't think that having a 007 movie written by Roald Dahl would have never worked. After all, he also did write the screenplay for Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And honestly, when looking at that movie at least, he really did a much better job with making a consistent tone. With You Only Live Twice, it feels like the elements of Roald Dahl's work and the elements of the James Bond movies are fucking fighting against each other. Even the racial stereotyping is an element of Roald Dahl's work, because this isn't the only time he's used blatant racial stereotypes. As far as I can tell, this is the only James Bond movie that used racial stereotypes this fucking blatant. But there are other ways it really doesn't capture the spirit of the 007 series. Technology was often the very fucking way problems were solved. Look at how many gadgets Bond used. It feels like it was a 007 movie written by a technophobic guy. Now, despite what I said so far, I actually don't think this story is terrible per se. I did actually like the Bond girl in the movie. She was sexy and had a certain charm to her. I also kind of liked how Blofeld was introduced into the story, even if he came across as really fucking cheesy at times. I guess it was kind of cool incorporating spaceflight into the movie, although Moonraker was much better at doing that, to be quite honest. And to be fair, that the problems with the tone only really become noticeable toward the end of the movie. But they ultimately made me stop caring about what happens next. Now, the action scenes are a bit of a different story. I think that this movie has some pretty fucking good action. There are plenty of your staples like gunplay, fight scenes, and explosions here and there. They are edited and filmed decently. And I will say, the final action scene was good enough to make me forget about those story problems. But only for a goddamn limited time. Now, as for the production values, the cinematography, editing, and sound are pretty good. However, the music is not the greatest. The score is very similar to other 007 scores with not much standing out. I also didn't care for the song You Only Live Twice. It was a little bit better than the Moonraker song, but that's not really saying much. Overall, I didn't care for You Only Live Twice. Now, it's not unwatchable, but it is far below the standards of some of the better 007 movies. I think the biggest problem with it is that it tries to inject social commentary into the movie. I honestly think that the series should stop trying to do this, because that shit never works. Social commentary always feels undercooked, on the nose, uninteresting, and condescending every single time it happens in a Bond movie. Not to mention unnecessary. What I'm saying is that social commentary has never been the series' strength, and You Only Live Twice is a pretty goddamn good example of that. But considering there are some good elements about this movie, I give You Only Live Twice 2 out of 5 stars with the title of Okay But Lacks Staying Power. But anyway, I'm Spike Robot. Thank you. If you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel. And see you next time. Support our troops.
Every